Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's video. I am jumping on super fast to film an intro for today's video, and as you guys can tell by the title, today's video is going to be another what we eat in a day. The last time I filmed one of these, I have little Lily here. The last time I filmed one of these was back in August, and I think I only featured what Lily and I ate then. Today is going to be a full what we eat in a day. So myself, Lily at now 20 months old, I think. And of course, the boys. So it's going to be a full what we eat in a day voiceover style video, where I'll feature all my meals for the day, all Lily's meals and snacks for the day. I showed you guys what I packed the boys for lunch since today is Tuesday and it's a school day. And then I'll show you guys, of course, their snacks and dinners and all that kind of stuff once they get home later on. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. These videos, I feel like you guys always do enjoy just because it's super entertaining to see, especially what I feed Lily girl now that she's 20 months old and definitely eating a lot more solid foods. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And with that being said, let's jump into what we eat in a day. So our morning typically starts around 7 a.m. That is when I get Lily up and she will get her first milk of the day. She still is taking 3 milk bottles a day. However, I have drastically decreased the amount of ounces that she drinks in a day. And I also have made the switch from whole milk to 2%, and that has definitely helped her appetite towards whole solid foods, which is something that I talked with her pediatrician about at her 18-month checkup. So in the morning she will get, I think I give her 6 ounces of 2% milk. Previously she was getting 7 to 8, but we've cut that down to 6 ounces. And if you've seen any of my what I eat in a day videos or morning routine videos in the past, you know that the boys are obsessed with chocolate milk. They've been having cups of chocolate milk. I don't really know how much they get. I kind of just fill these bottles up to the skinny part of it and eyeball how much they get. But they've been getting chocolate milk in the morning since they've been 3 years old, and they're now just about to be 6. So of course this morning started like any other, and I got the boys their chocolate milk. Now when it comes to breakfast for the boys, we have a kind of quick and condensed morning. I get them up usually around 7 and their bus picks them up at the bus stop at 8. So I have just an hour to get Lily up, get the boys up, get everybody fed, pack both lunches and snacks, get myself ready, get the boys ready, and get them out the door. So they do get a smaller breakfast. They've been on this track of wanting smaller breakfast since honestly Lily was born. They're just not really breakfast eaters. So in the morning they do like to have a yogurt, and typically it's these Danimal yogurts that I get. So once I get Lily settled and I get the boys their milk and yogurt, I will go ahead and pack both their lunches and their snacks. I typically pack lunch Monday through Thursday, and then Friday is pizza day at school, so they will go ahead and get school lunch on Fridays. And both of the boys in their classes have a smaller morning snack and then a regular snack, I believe, in the afternoon. Lily chugs her milk in the morning, and I wish I got it on camera, but she will tell me, "All done, mama," and then I'll go over and grab her bottle from her. But for lunch for the boys today, I went with a rainbow theme. We have these rainbow bagels in that we got from BJ's. Ben likes his plain, Jack likes his with cream cheese, and then I did rainbow goldfish and an assortment of fruit. And then they got an applesauce and raisins for their first snack and Pirate's Booty for their second snack. And then once that is done, I go ahead and pour myself an iced coffee. I use this Stop and Shop Nature's Promise brand cold brew, and then of course Chobani creamer. And for breakfast this morning, I went with some good old Eggo's waffles with butter and syrup. Now at this point, the boys are off to school, and Lily does get her breakfast after that point just because the morning is so crazy. And just like with the boys, Lily likes a smaller breakfast in the morning. She's on a banana kick lately, so she'll usually have a whole banana in the morning. Sometimes she'll have cinnamon toast or a few mini pancakes cut up. But we've been on a banana kick. So I went ahead and cut up a banana for her, and as you guys will see, she ate the entire thing. And then at this point, we went out and ran some errands. When we got home, she asked for cookies. These are the Annie's birthday cake, I think. Little graham cracker cookies, and she is obsessed with these. She calls them cookies, and she always asks for them in the morning. So she went ahead and had a bowl of those. Harris's dad typically goes out and gets himself coffee every morning, and he will get me just a small one from Starbucks. So I got home and had that. And then typically around 11 o'clock is when I'll start the whole lunch routine with Lily. And on this day, she was going to have some scrambled eggs, and I make them in sort of an omelet form. and then I cut them up into little squares, and she's also on a strawberry kick. She loves strawberries. So I will plate this up and also, of course, give her some water with it, and we'll go ahead and have lunch. Thank you. You want egg or strawberry? Strawberry. More strawberry? Yeah. Lily is finally now at a point that she really enjoys eating foods. If you guys are familiar with any of Lily's history, she was very slow to want to eat whole solid food. She had a difficult time early on, between like 6 and 9 months, even taking like purees and really soft foods, and it wasn't until a year old that she was really comfortable with that. And then I would say around like 16, 17 months is when she got some teeth, like back molars, and she began to like enjoy eating whole solid foods, and now she doesn't have a problem with it at all. We did get her evaluated for speech and feeding therapy, and she didn't qualify for those, so that was good in that she kind of grew out of that on her own and didn't need assistance with that. But early on I did think it was something that we would need to address and get her assistance with, but now she'll eat basically anything that I put in front of her. And I definitely do think cutting back on the milk has helped, but all in all, she definitely loves to eat now, and that makes me so happy to see, because I didn't have any of this trouble with the whole feeding thing with the boys when they were little. They ate anything and everything starting as early as like 6 or 7 months, so it makes my mom heart happy to know that she actually does enjoy eating food now. And she does love water. This Bear sippy cup we introduced at 6 months old. I tried to get her different ones recently and she didn't like them as much, but with her Bear cup, she will go ahead and chug her water. And usually with lunchtime, she also gets a yogurt. We use these Stonyfield yogurts, and she loves these as well. She calls them Wagurts, and if I need her to eat something quick and fast, she will always go ahead and eat this. She also has a habit when she's done eating it of sticking her hand inside of it. I don't know what that is, but as you can see, she enjoyed her eggs, her strawberries, and her Wagurt, and she went ahead and finished all of that. And at this point, I was going to go ahead and heat up some lunch for myself. The night before this, I went over to my friend Casey's house and we ordered in some food. I got some chicken hibachi from like a local like sushi place, and it was pretty good, but the portions were so big that I had a lot left over, so I took it home and had it for lunch the next day. So I went ahead and plated up the fried rice, the hibachi vegetables, and the chicken, and then just heated that up in the microwave. And after this point, Lily went down for her nap, and I needed a little sweet treat. I knew I had like a very tiny bit of peanut butter left in this jar, so I dumped in some mini chocolate chips and just snacked on that while I started the new season of Tell Me Lies. Let me know if you guys are watching this in the comment section down below. But typically Lily will nap from 12 to 2, and once she wakes up, she will get another milk, and this one's just a very small one just to fill her belly up after not eating for so long during her nap. So she gets just 4 ounces, and these Dr. Brown cups, I love them, but at the same time I hate them. In the audio here that I have cut out, Lily says not working. No.
Why?
Not working. Let me see. That's because the straw is not working on it. If you don't put it in a very specific way, the straw does not work. So 9 times out of 10, I have to take it back from her and I have to go ahead and readjust the straw. So although they're good in helping the baby transition from like a normal bottle nipple or sippy cup top, she made a good transition with the straw on these. I just don't recommend them because they're a hassle and sometimes they don't wind up working. But she went ahead and chugged all of this, and at this point I will go ahead and get the boys from the bus stop. They get home around 3 o'clock, so once we got home, I gave her some veggie sticks, and then I got the boys situated with their afternoon snacks. And so while Lily was settled in the den with her snack, I went up and unpacked lunches. Here's what we're looking like. Ben ate most of his bagel, all of his goldfish, and some of his fruit. Jack ate all of his bagel, some of his goldfish, and none of his fruit. Jack, for some reason, is very hit or miss with eating his lunch, but after school, they do request some snacks, so they each had a Danimals little like yogurt smoothie drink and some mini muffins, and Lily asked asked for an applesauce. She loves applesauce. We typically give her these Go-Go Squeeze ones, but I do like the Target brand or anything like that, and she loves them all the same. And for dinner this night, we had a very simple dinner. I was kind of doing like a play on at-home Panera, so I was going to use this sourdough to make some grilled cheeses. So I just have some deli American cheese. I get the Panera soup just at the grocery store. I got chicken noodle for the boys and tomato for the adults. Tonight it was just going to be Harris, myself, and his mom. So I wound up doing about 1.5 of these tomato soup containers, and then I did 1 package of this chopped Caesar salad. And like I said, it was going to be a little play on Panera at home, which the boys do love Panera chicken noodle soup when we get it, and they like it just the same when I buy it in this container. I do find that it tastes a little different, but they still like it. And they do also like their like juice slash broth to food ratio to be a little bit higher. So I had some of this organic chicken broth, so I went ahead and added some of that in just to up the amount of broth. When I'm making a lot of grilled cheeses, I like to put the oven on very low so that when I'm done with one set, I can just throw them in there to stay warm and keep the cheese nice and melted while I make some more. And this is how all of the adults' dinner turned out. And for the kids, the boys also had grilled cheeses, some apple slices, and the soup, and Lily had some popcorn chicken and a cheese stick. Now at this point, I forgot to finish filming the rest of this video, so I decided to throw in the next night's dinner as well to give you guys 2 dinner options. And on this night, I was making one of my favorite meals, and it is lasagna soup. I'm going to throw the inspiration recipe up on the screen here, but I will have it linked down below. It's from a TikToker whose name is Here's Your Bite, and this is our favorite recipe of hers. I make this honestly almost twice a month, sometimes even 3 times a month, and it calls for half a box of lasagna noodles, this specific carbone sauce. This is the one that has no onions or garlic in it, but the regular one works just the same. I needed 2 boxes of chicken broth and some tomato paste, and here are all the seasonings that I use. I do modify her recipe a little bit just based on what I have in the cabinet, so you'll see some differences there. And then as for things from the fridge, you'll of course need some ground beef. You can use ground sausage if you want. You'll need a yellow onion as well as some minced garlic, and then you'll also need some mozzarella cheese and heavy whipping cream. Her recipe also calls for ricotta, but Harris's dad doesn't like that, so I don't add that in. You can modify it how you prefer. I find it still tastes all the same whether I use the ricotta or I don't. Sometimes I use basil, sometimes I don't. So it all just depends. So I go ahead and start by chopping up the yellow onion. I use almost the entire thing. I went a little onion heavy tonight just because I did get the delicato version of the carbone sauce, so it didn't have any onion in it. So this is the amount of onion I went ahead and diced up. And then I don't have measuring spoons, so I go ahead and use these small, like regular silverware spoon and kind of eye out my seasonings, and then the salt and pepper I will do when I put the ground beef in. So I start by sauteing the onion in some olive oil, and then I add all of these seasonings in and go ahead and mix that thoroughly. I also add in the minced garlic, which I did not show here tonight, and then I'll go ahead and throw in my ground beef. I kind of smush it down and add the salt and pepper, and then let it brown on one side a little bit before I go ahead and finish chopping it up and browning it. And once that is all cooked and drained, I add about this much tomato paste. I eyeball this as well. Sometimes I use regular tomato paste, sometimes I use the tomato paste with basil. Again, it all just depends what I have. So I go ahead and will incorporate this and mix this through thoroughly. This recipe, it is so delicious and so easy. Once you have it down pat like I do, it is just like a go-to recipe for me. And so once the tomato paste is thoroughly mixed through, I will go ahead and add the marinara sauce, which tonight I made a big mess and wound up splashing it all over my sweatshirt. But once I'm done dumping it in, I will put a little bit of the beef broth in the jar and like swirl that around just to get the most out of the jar and kind of clean it out. And then I'll go ahead and add both boxes of beef broth, and then I go ahead and give that a good mix. Tonight I was feeding Harris's mom, dad, Harris, and myself. So for 4 adults, this recipe definitely makes more than enough. We do typically have some left over for me to have for lunch the next day, so it will feed our little family of 4 adults, no problem. After I do a little outfit change, because I did splash it all over my sweatshirt and I wanted to get my sweatshirt into the wash machine, and then while I was waiting for the liquids to come to a simmer, the most tedious part for me is now breaking up the lasagna noodles. It honestly hurts my fingers, but it has to be done. And again, you want to use about half a box of lasagna noodles, crush those up to your desired size. I prefer smaller sizes, and then you go ahead and add that into the pot and cook it for about 14 minutes. I do serve this with a little French baguette broken up so you can dip it into the soup, and then that mozzarella cheese you can top your soup with. And then when it comes to the heavy cream, again, I kind of eyeball this. I know the color that we prefer it, so I kind of go based off eye and color of the soup. So after this, I do add just a little bit more. You want it to be like a nice light creamy orange color. Once that's done, you kill the heat and just let it sit for a little bit. I went ahead and plated up the kids' dinner tonight, which was going to be some mac and cheese and an assortment of fruit. And then again, Lily, she's obsessed with this popcorn chicken and cheese sticks right now, so I just stick with what I know for her. And then here is the soup all completed. Once dinner is done and cleaned up, Lily will then take a bath and get her bedtime bottle, which is between 5 and 6 ounces of the 2% milk. And after the kids are bathed, they get their little bedtime snack, and then they're off to bed for the night. I can go ahead and enjoy a snack myself. Tonight I had some 2% milk and golden Oreos, and that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing 2 dinner options as well as what we typically eat in a day. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.